Hey guys, welcome back to WCS Finals here, Global Finals in Korea. We don't have a lot of time to talk, so let's just jump right into the ZVZ.
Yeah. The only thing that I have to say here is Dimaga! Let's jump into the game.
That's all you have to say, because I have a lot to say about this match.
I have to say a little bit more, but I have to, he's my half brother, and so I have to really shape him. Left corner fighting, starting to the top left, it is the one and only
Dimaga from Europe.
Oh yeah.
He's also from Europe, just like you.
Who would have thought? Yeah, really interesting here. Okay. Dima up against his opponent down to the bottom right, and this is a tough Zerg player to face, a former champion. It is, of course,
Samsung Can Roro from Korea.
Alright, who is doing these pronunciations? I was just saying the Can. I really miss Can. He's in Germany right now, but...
Yeah, but this is Samsung Can. So we have Roro, and he is a former GSL champion. So for Dimaga, I mean, this group is going to be so difficult for him. He does not only have to face Innovation later on down the road, but he also is up against the former GSL champion. He is up against Roro here, and let's see what he can do against him in his first game. If Dimaga takes this best of 3, then he will advance to face Innovation in the winner's match. If he is defeated by his opponent, then he falls down to the loser's match, where he would have to deal with Revival.
Yep. And, you know, obviously going to the loser's match is never ideal, but if you lose and then you go into another ZVZ in the loser's match where you have to play a ZVZ to decide if you advance or not, it's not a good feeling, but at the same time, since there's 3 Zergs in the group, you're kind of going to end up in that situation no matter what, unless you can beat Innovation, which is even harder. So, both of these players, as well as Revival we saw earlier, all 3 of them definitely have to bring their A-game ZVZ right now to this group.
This group is definitely going to be decided on the back of those ZVZs. This is so tough, and Zerg versus Zerg can just be so volatile. Aurora is a great player, and the one thing that is real difficult for Dimaga to deal with is that not only is he facing a champion here, a very strong opponent, but at the same time, how did Roro win this championship? He won a ZVZ, and he played so many Zerg versus Zergs in the regular season, so he's an experienced player in the mirror matchup. Dimaga has to be careful about what he's doing here.
Yeah, this is really true. Dimaga, a decent Zerg versus Zerg player himself, though. One of the best Europeans in the world, and arguably the best Zerg versus Zerger in Europe. You know, some people make different claims, but there's a lot of really good ZVZ players in Europe, and I don't know, man. I think that Dimaga actually has a good chance of getting out of this group. He has a better chance than Stefano and TLO did in their group, and of course they've already lost. So he's the only foreigner left.
Yeah, the only foreigner fighting still at the WCS finals in the first season here. Let's see what Dima can do. Currently we have Roro heading into his Baneling nest, and on a map like Belcher Vestige you would expect roughly the same from both players, especially since Dimaga has now spotted that there is a Baneling nest for Roro. He's gonna drop down his own very soon.
Yeah, I mean, on this map there's no secondary ramp that you can hide from. Both players pushing the overlords away.
Yeah, kind of one of those things that you can do sometimes is just head straight into the roaches. We've seen this occasionally. Now that the Spore Crawlers suddenly do a crazy amount of damage to the Mutalisk, the matchup has gone back to a lot of Roach versus Roach in the mid-game. But the early game is still dominated by Zerglings. We see a lot of +1/+1 very early in the game. But at this point, Roro already committing a lot of resources to his army.
Yeah. Look at this. He's making just 4 Banelings to go in the front. I like that Spineclaw placement by Dimaga, making a little bit of a wall there. But these Banelings, if they sneak around the backside to the right where there's no wall, they could kill some drones. It's all about the reaction time here of Dimaga.
Yeah, right now, as you can see, we have Dimaga trying to prepare for what's coming. He already has the Spinecrawler. Here come those Banelings. They're already on the move. And he has to defend here. His own Banes are not ready just yet, but the Queen on the high ground is trying to do its best. But there's just so many Zerglings, and the Queen might be taken out here.
Definitely.
Both of them, actually.
And this is a big problem here for Dimaga, having his speed a little bit later, losing a Queen there, and some Harvesters killed.
Yeah, 6 in total. This is huge at this point. Dimaga is suffering a lot of losses at the hands of Roro.
And Roro looks like he's pretty much done with the aggression, minus the links he still has running around here, making a defensive Baneling back at home. Both players going directly into the lair, and with the players all having you know, their gas is taken in the lair at this timing, looks more and more likely that we're going to see a Mutalisk style game here.
Yeah, both of them going into the lair as we speak. Dimaga trying to stabilize once again. He's on the same supply as his opponent. Lost a few harvesters here, and of course especially losing the queen was really annoying for him. But the lair tag is good for both of them. Dimaga not losing too much time. Has to be careful though, especially in a scenario that is evolving right in front of us. What's important is the third base. Who's going to take it first? Who can defend the third base? And how much aggression is going to come out of the other player?
Yeah. The game supply-wise is dead even right now. And we had a slightly faster 4 gas for Dimaga. So Roro, you know, he mined his gas a little bit earlier in the main base. It kind of evens out. They're both now on 4 gases. And both layers finishing in almost the exact same second here. So spires will be added. And this is going to be all about the gas and the third base. That's why we see Roro right now checking to see if Dimaga took a risky third.
The third base is important. You want to deny this for as long as possible. And also spore crawlers are now coming into play. It's a little bit like a game of chicken. The players will try to judge how many Mutalisks there are actually out. And it's very difficult to transition out of the Mutalisks. You have to chicken out first and then you have to play a defensive game. So let's see when we are going to see the third bases. There's the first one, this time for Roro. So Dimaga, he knows about it. He has an overload there. He has to react. But good hits against against Dimaga Zerglings here, losing a lot of them. Yeah,
that really hurts his map control here. That means that holding his third base is much more difficult. And yeah, he holds against these few Lings, but there's a second wave of Lings, and Banelings coming up for Roro. He baits him into the Banelings! Perfectly done by Roro. Bit of a mistake there by Dimaga. Now he's going to have to cancel his hatchery. He needs to cancel that!
Yeah, he canceled it in the last seconds, and this is really bad for our Zerg player from Europe here. A big problem for him. He cannot possibly now deal with the third base. He is behind in economy, and he will fall further and further behind. He has to either go for counter-aggression or take his own third base. There is just no other choice of him.
Yeah, you're right. Carapace started already for Dimaga, taking that step. And Roro, on the other hand, has a lot of resources to make mutas, but he waits for a second. He starts his Carapace as well. So Dimaga's slightly ahead in that regard as far as tech goes. He's just got no control outside of his base. Loses the drone again. And look at his minerals. You can see he wants to take that hatchery. He just can't afford it, Jesse. Or he can't get past those Zerglings. That's the real problem. He can afford it, that's for sure.
Yeah, the problem is just really that he's falling behind in gas. We have already the extractor taken for Roro, and this means that he will become much stronger when it comes down to the Mutalisks alone. So for Dimaga, I feel committing now to Mutalisk is not the best choice.
He needs to get some spores fairly soon.
Yeah, I think spores and trying to transition out would probably be the better choice here. You know, with the overload creep spread that he has, he should start a spore crawler immediately over there, or at least set up a defense. Those Mutalisks of Roro are now roaming the map, and he is just continuing to produce them, and with 2 extra gases, the Samsung current player has a much better gas income, and therefore Mutalisk production than Dimaga.
These Lings here are a little bit surrounded, nicely done by Dimaga, but he's supply block, losing his forward overlords. This is common, it's not a mistake by Dimaga, it's just how this matchup ends up once you get the Mutalisks out, and that's costing him more and more minerals, and he still has no third base ready yet.
The Ukrainian player is microing his heart out here, trying as best as he can to get hold of the map, to get a bit of map control. Even supply blocking Roro here, but Roro already took an advantage, and he is trying to run with it. Building spine crawlers to make sure that his mineral lines are protected, and he is already 3 Mutalisks ahead, and he is just producing a lot more units than his opponent can.
Yeah, Dimaga making those 2 extractors right now at his third base. They're not ready yet.
5 additional Mutalisks now being built since the supply block is gone. The Overlords were just now ready. +1 armor upgrade is soon going to pop for both players. Dimaga has his own third base now, but already a lot of gas mined at the third of Roro, whereas Dimaga is just now starting. Once again, Lings running in and into the main base, trying to kill the queen.
Oh, he could get the queen, and he does. He could actually kill the second queen that's on the ramp too if he targets. Nah, the Lings come to save it.
Yeah, +2 armor already been started for Roro, much faster than for Dimaga, who goes into +1 armor, and here we go.
This is a really close fight here. Dimaga having the defender's advantage.
Yeah, he has, of course he can rally his reinforcements in. Dimaga might be able to force that back, but the reinforcements for Roro are already here. The spore crawlers for now making sure that Roro can't follow, but Roro is now on the prowl, trying to fight a few victims, maybe another few overlords, or even picking off a queen.
Look at the Zergling production right now for Roro. He's making 42. Looks like he wants to put some heavy aggression on that third base by ground. Killing another queen here, really affecting Dimaga's production right now. Gonna even get another overlord, it looks like.
Big problem here for the production of our Ukrainian Zerg player. Dimaga is struggling and a lot. He's already 20 supply behind his opponent. Even now a transition coming out of Roro going into the infestation pit, and the Mutalisk count is still better for Roro. and he's getting 8
more
additional ones.
Plus the +2 carapace, and with those 8 more, he's going to be at 24-19.
And that's something that Dimaga cannot afford to face. He's struggling here, and he's really trying. But so far, Ro is the one calling the shots, and he still finds overlords on the map that he can take down. 2,000
resources more cost efficient right now. Roro pushing through at the natural here, trying to assassinate another queen. No queen available, but here's that Zergling attack I was talking about. He uses the fact that his opponent just does not have the larva and the resources to produce this much.
A really good move
mistake by Dimaga.
Really good move here by Roro, picking those units off at the side. Dimaga with an A move, and only half of his units are actually going to defend at the right side of the map.
And he does it again. He's got to keep all of his units on one hotkey.
Way too much right
Way too much, and he is about to have +2 carapace as well. Dimaga going to have to type out here in game number 1.
Even with a queen, he cannot handle this. There are too many Zerglings at the third, too many Mules over here.
GG.
Roro taking game number 1 here in our second match of Group D. Dimaga down 1 map.
Yeah, that was a pretty good opening from him. You know, the beginning of the game was fine, but when he lost that third base twice, that's when he really started losing momentum. It's all ZVZ if it's Muta versus Muta ZVZ, and even if it's not, but especially when it's ZVZ with Muta versus Muta, those 4th or 5th and 6th extractors are the really important part. You have to get those as soon as possible. That's how you're going to get the Mutalist count up.
Yeah, Mutalist count was much higher. Also the +2 armor upgrade, of course, that came into play. He sniped the queens, which limited the production of Dimaga significantly. And everything that he did, those Zergling run-bys to the third, for the like a little bit earlier into the main base, it was just way too much for Dimaga to handle, and he was really fighting, but he just couldn't handle that. It was too much pressure by Roro.
Yeah, and then when that Ling attack came in, he had lost too many Lings on his own, lost a lot of resources, lost too many Overlords. He had to keep spending more and more resources on Overlords, which means less Zerglings on the ground. It means he can't hold his third base anymore to the Ling attack. Then the micro mistakes from Dimaga there at the very end, and also Roro seizing on those, seeing that he had some of the Mutas out and going for that attack. That was really important.
It just showed really clearly why Roro was able to win that season, where it came down to the mirror matchups, where he faced then Symbol in the finals and did such a great job. He knows exactly how to play this matchup. He knows very well when to attack, when to back off, what unit composition to choose, and when it's time just to move in and take his chances. That's what he did. Won the first map, and we are now heading into game number 2 here at the WCS Season Finals 1 in Korea. Dimaga